मत कहो खुदा से मेरी मुश्किलें बड़ी हैं, ये मत कहो खुदा से मेरी मुश्किलें बड़ी हैं, ये मुश्किलों से कह दो मेरा खुदा बड़ा है। आती है आंधियाँ तो कर उनका खैर मकदम, आती है आंधियाँ तो कर उनका खैर मकदम, तूफान से ही तो लड़ने खुदा ने तुझे गढ़ा है। ये मत कहो खुदा से मेरी मुश्किलें बड़ी हैं, ये मुश्किलों से कह दो मेरा खुदा बड़ा है, मेरा खुदा बड़ा है, मेरा खुदा बड़ा है। अग्नि में तप के सोना है और भी निखरता, दुर्गम को पार करके हिमालय कोई चढ़ाए। लाएगी रंग मेहनत आखिर तुम्हारी एक दिन, लाएगी रंग मेहनत आखिर तुम्हारी एक दिन, होगा विशाल तरवर वो बीज जो पड़ा है। ये मत कहो खुदा से मेरी मुश्किलें बड़ी हैं, ये मुश्किलों से कह दो मेरा खुदा बड़ा है, मेरा खुदा बड़ा है, मेरा खुदा बड़ा है। शक्तियों से जब साथ है हमारे, वो सर्व शक्तियों से जब साथ है हमारे, हर काम उसके रहते हरगिज़ हुआ पड़ा है। कभी हारना ना, हिम्मत का कदम बढ़ाओ, कभी हारना ना, हिम्मत का कदम बढ़ाओ, हजारों कदम बढ़ाने वो सामने खड़ा है। ये मत कहो खुदा से मेरी मुश्किलें बड़ी हैं, ये मुश्किलों से कह दो मेरा खुदा बड़ा है, ये मुश्किलों से कह दो मेरा खुदा बड़ा है, मेरा खुदा बड़ा है, मेरा खुदा बड़ा है, मेरा खुदा बड़ा है।
ओम शांति। एक बार हम तालियां बजाकर सिस्टर मॉरिन का बहुत दिल से स्वागत करते हैं। आप लंदन से अपने 40 साल के ईश्वरीय सर्विस, ईश्वरीय सेवाओं के अनुभवी हैं और बहुत ही यंग एज में आपने अपनी ईश्वरीय सेवाओं को शुरू किया। बहुत सुंदर एक अपॉर्चुनिटी है हमारे पास में कि हम अपने अंदर जो भी हमारे आज के टाइम की सिचुएशंस हैं, प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, उनको फेस करने के लिए हम अपने अंदर कामनेस, साइलेंस, पीस को कैसे डेवलप करें, ये विषय को लेकर आज हमें आपको सुनने का मौका मिलेगा। तो आपने भी अपने लाइफ के अंदर में लंदन में रहते हुए और बहुत सारी चीज़ों को फेस किया, लेकिन फिर भी आप कैसे आज तक एक स्टेबिलिटी के साथ, एक पीस ऑफ माइंड के साथ चल रहे हैं, वो एक्सपीरियंस भी हमारे साथ शेयर करेंगे और बहुत सारे टिप्स एंड टेक्निक्स आज हम आपसे सीखेंगे। तो बहुत बहुत स्वागत है सिस्टर मॉरिन का कि आप हमारे बीच में हैं। तो एक बार फिर से तालियां बजाकर हम आपको वेलकम करते हैं। और आज हमारे बीच में सारे यूथ बैठे हैं। सो यूथ मीन्स जो बहुत ही एनर्जेटिक, बहुत ही ज़्यादा एक्साइटेड। तो आप इनकी जो भी बातें हैं इनके द्वारा आप इनको समझेंगे। थैंक यू। ओम शांति।
Thank you. Om Shanti. Can you hear me? It's okay? Om Shanti. I will speak in English, okay? So thank you for the kind introduction. And I'm very happy to be here. I'm here with my cousin brother, and I'll introduce him in a little while. But I'm very happy to be with all of you and to meet you. And it's a very, very important topic, I think, this evening. Do any of you not have any challenges? Who has no challenges? Nobody. We all face so many challenges in life, right? And it doesn't matter what age you are, there are a lot of challenges. And you want to hear the good news? As you get older, there are even more challenges. But of course, what I've found certainly, and I'm sure you will find, is that as you go through those things, you gain experience and you learn. And often when those challenges come in front of us, it's very difficult to learn because we get very affected. But if we think about learning something, we have a saying, you know, I have a little bit of Hindi, but tufan hai tofa, right? A gift is, a storm can be a gift. And so whatever happens to us or whatever happens around us, if we are able to consider it as something that will create a deeper learning and experience in ourselves, then we can move through it and we can be stronger for whatever yet is to come. And I know when I was young there were certain challenges, but I know that today there's a lot more challenges and many, many more pressures. And so it's not easy. Is it easy? It's not easy, is it? You know, I remember some of you would have heard of Daddy Janki. She was the main head of the organization until 2020. Then she decided to move on. And but I remember once telling a story, and she was near Mount Abu, our headquarters, and there was a group of people gathered. And so she went over to have a look what was happening, and it was a snake charmer. Have you seen that? I actually have seen it once, not in India though, in Morocco. And the guy said to me, "The snake's very tame, shall I put it around your neck?" I said, "No, thank you." I thought that's one challenge I can do without. But the snake, you know, the guy was playing and the snake stood up, a poisonous snake. And then she said what happened. The guy took hold of the neck of the snake and squeezed it hard so that the poison came out. And as she was telling this story, then she said, this is the strength you need to live in this world. I thought, yeah. Not only do I have to get the poison out of my own mind, but also out of the mind and hearts of others. And there's a lot of negativity in the world and a lot of violence in the world. So how can I make my way through that? And I often think about life. It's like we are boats in the big sea of life. And the important thing is that the boat is in the water, but the water doesn't get into the boat. Because obviously what happens, the boat will sink. And of course this relates to the many influences that we have around us. What are the influences that you face? Anybody want to say? So their thoughts and their habits come again?
Their thought processes, which is also we have received knowledge from Brahma, but they don't. So their thought process is very different from ours.
And that affects us. Okay, so one challenge, I'll just repeat it, that okay, if you are on a spiritual path and you have spiritual knowledge, there's a certain way in which you live and think and your attitude. But then if you're living with others around you who don't share that, their thought processes are very different, and so that can influence you. Yes, very, very much. Very much. Many of the influences are related to people. Anything else anyone wants to share? Influences that you face. Very big thing. Okay, what might... Oh! Okay, you repeat it yourself.
What other people might be thinking about me, or what others might say about me, how they feel about me. So that could be one of the big influence that influences my actions and thoughts.
Yeah, very big influence. I agree. Anything else?
Influence of media nowadays is very much at a high level, so that is one thing.
Yeah, influence of the media. Sometimes you're just bombarded with things, and I find it now. I'm not on social media, but I'm bombarded with emails and WhatsApp messages. And actually these 3 days I've been doing many different things, so the emails are building up and building up and building up. I have to say, okay, let them sit there, it's okay. But yeah, there's a lot of influence in different ways. Anyway, let's look at the influence of people. That's the first thing. Because we live with people, we're meant to interact with people. We're not meant to live on our own. It's not a solitary life. And although sometimes we feel like running away, that happens. But the thing is, and we become a little bit obsessed with actually thinking about what others may think because we want their approval. We want some sort of external validation to make me feel okay, to make me feel good. And I know I went through a lot of this, and I would say I was a slave to it. I was always worrying about what other people thought of me, and in fact, it was a kind of imagination, because I actually, if I look back, I actually think that I thought that everybody had nothing else to do except think about me, which isn't the reality. And so we get into this imagination of what other people think, and that causes us to then value ourselves less. And the reality is that nobody else can give me self-value or self-respect or self-identity. It's something that has to come from within myself. Now, I remember when I was much younger, the office I was working in, there was one sister with me, and I don't know what I'd done to her, no idea, but she was really quite nasty to me. And the more she was nasty to me, the more I tried to be nice to her. Anybody else got themselves in that situation? And, I'd come in, I'd say, "Good morning," and she'd turn her face in the other direction. And I was just gutted. I was very, very hurt. I had a lot of tears. And one day she said to me, "You never give up, do you?" And it was a very interesting experience then at one point. And this has gone on for more than a year, actually. It was very, very hard. I was pretty young at the time. And one day I'm sitting at my desk. She's sitting at her desk. She's doing her work. And I look over and I asked myself a question. Well, I asked her a question in my head. I looked at her and I said, "What do I want from you? What can you give me?" And then I immediately got the answer, "Nothing." And at that moment, sometimes you get those moments of realization, like aha moment, And I suddenly saw myself as a beggar, a real beggar, begging for herself, for her respect and her love. And that was the basis of my happiness. And I realized this is completely ridiculous. And that was a big turning point for me. And I began to value myself more. Because my happiness can't depend on anybody else. Yeah, one day it'll be fine, another day it won't be fine. So I really will then not be able to have a state of contentment inside. And I certainly won't be able to have a calm mind. Because once I get influenced by one person, I will get influenced by everybody. Because it'll become the habit within me to become influenced. Now, I can't control anybody else's behavior. I can't control the situations around me. But what I can control is how I respond. And there's a lot of research now into trauma. I don't know if any of you are aware of it. Any of you heard of Gabor Mate? Anyone? No. Anyway, very interesting if you look him up, but he's done a lot of research into trauma. But he says that trauma is not about what happens to you, but it's about how you respond to what happens to you. And that's actually in your own hands. And this is where meditation is very important. Because when things come to us, immediately the mind begins to run in that direction. And meditation helps us to become the master of our mind, so that we can consciously choose where to put our thoughts, and consequently where our feelings will go. Because you think and then feelings follow it. Am I right? And sometimes we become so overwhelmed by emotion we just can't see anything. And anger is a very negative emotion, isn't it? It's easy to get angry, isn't it? but we have to make it more easy to be at peace. Somebody told me, somebody this morning was asking me after the class, excuse me, how can I control my anger? I said, well, it's the deep practice of your inherent state of peace within. I explained a bit more. But I also said to him that somebody told me a phrase once, when you get angry, all you're doing is saying to the world that you're a fool. Why? Because you can be manipulated easily. Person who gets angry easily, you can have them in your hands. Say one thing, they're angry. Another thing, they're happy. Who's in charge? They're not in charge. Why should I get into that state where I'm in the hands of other people? In other words, my feelings, my emotions are in the hands of others. I have to take it back. And so this is where we need to practice that awareness of who we really are. And if I were to ask you, who are you? Well, we haven't got it's not a workshop to have enough time to go around everyone. But yeah, sure, you'd give me some answers. I'm male, I'm female, I'm, Indian or whatever. I'm your maybe your family background, your profession. But think about it, are these things really you? These are parts that you play. We all play our parts in life. But who are we on the inside? Who is the one acting? Have you thought about that? There's the being within that is not physical. The body, very physical. You can touch it, you can talk. We need our bodies. I wouldn't be able to talk to you without a body. If you got a disembodied voice, you'd probably run out of the room. I think I would. We need our vehicles to communicate, to live. We're meant to be in life. But we mustn't lose sight of who we are. And our thoughts, our emotions, our feelings, our memories, our personality, these are not physical things because they belong to the non-physical being. And I always point here because this is actually the third eye, right? The seat of the soul, where consciousness resides. And more scientists are researching into consciousness. But if you think about it, whatever our awareness is, we create a certain vibration and atmosphere around us, right? You can see if somebody's angry, you feel, if you were to picture it, it would be like a dark cloud around them, right? Somebody's peaceful, it's a different atmosphere. And actually we affect each other through our vibrations. And it's so important to keep our vibrations very good and very clean and filled with benevolent feelings for others. I've had to learn a lot as I've been interacting with many people over the years, involved in many projects. And I've had to learn to be patient, to respect others, to listen, and to not need to prove myself. Now think about it, if you don't need to prove yourself, if you can be patient, if you can listen, wouldn't that be freedom? What do you think? Would it? Freedom from many waste thoughts, unhappy thoughts. And that's because when we become aware of the soul, we call it soul consciousness, we also become aware of our original qualities. And many of you know this, that inherently the soul is filled with peace, with love, with purity, with happiness, and with truth or wisdom. Now I have a choice at every moment, and am I going to allow the influences to drive my behavior, other people to drive my behavior, or am I going to allow my inner qualities to drive my behavior? Can you see the difference? It's a big difference. And of course, it's not just in 5 minutes you can suddenly do it, it takes practice. But when you allow those qualities to be released within and become strong, then it becomes more natural to allow those qualities to be the driving force in your life. Then your mind is very calm. It doesn't come into upheaval easily. And a calm mind then has clarity to take good decisions, to discern, to know what to do. Daddy Janki, I keep referring to her, she had 3 mantras. She would say Om Shanti 3 times. Who am I? Who do I belong to? What do I have to do? Who do I belong to? We belong to each other, right? I can't say just because I haven't met you before that you don't belong to me. You're part of my human family, right? I feel that actually. You're all my friends. But also, we're one family and we belong to one divine, to God. And it's the connection and the relationship with God, with the Supreme, that gives us our strength. We need a lot of strength within. And you mentioned the media because, again, the media is always trying to tell us how we should be. And if you look in a certain way, everybody will like you and you will be somebody. It's very, very external, very, very superficial. But because everybody's doing it, it's hard to stay above it. That's why we need so much strength. And no matter what, I must never let go of my self-value, my self-dignity, and I must never let go of that relationship with the divine. And this is what the practice of Raj Yoga meditation is. Connecting with the self and connecting with the Supreme Soul. Through that we get energy. Through that our qualities are awakened. Through that we can actually move forward in life, but not in a way that's going to hurt others, but in a way that will be of benefit to me and my family, my work, wherever it is. And of course, we all have to do our studies, and that can be a source of stress, right? I remember when I was taking exams, I was very stressed. But it was very interesting. When I did my exam, I did a qualification in speech therapy or speech pathology, some of you will know. And the final exam, first you had to do your written exam, and then you had to be watched treating a patient, which can be very nerve-wracking to be observed in your treating. I decided, this was even before Brahma Kumaris, I decided that, okay, I'm going to hand this over to God. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to put God in charge. And I was amazed. I felt so easy. I felt so light. I did so well. I got a credit. But it's because I allowed that relationship to give me strength. And I knew what to do, and I could do it well. So it's a very practical thing. It's not just for meditating once a week, once a day. It's actually to help us live in life in a successful way, a good way. And also to take the failures, because we'll have failures, we'll make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. But I don't let it take away my self-value. I say, okay, something to learn. So these are the kind of challenges we can face, right? And I've focused on people because this is most real to us, the most immediate. And we really want that dignity. Sound good? Yeah. But of course, sometimes there are really major challenges, and you'll know that in the world at the moment, there's a lot of war going on. There are actually, well, I was in Oman, and it was a talk for the International Day of Non-Violence, and I'm here in the country of non-violence, Gandhiji. And actually he had a very interesting quote. He said that, "I've seen humanity trying to destroy itself several times, but it hasn't happened. Therefore, the law must be of love." I love that quote. But I was researching, I found out there were at that time seven civil wars happening in the world. Then there was the war, Ukraine-Russia war. And now we have another war, Israel and Palestine. These are very hard situations. And my cousin brother, Ezra, little nudge. Ezra, give him a little nudge, please. Hi. I think we've had a very long day. But I was just mentioning about the situation of war, and how you were hearing, okay, good. And how, you know, these are very severe situations. And these situations make other problems look very small, right? Put everything into perspective. We need to be so strong. We need our connection to be so strong, because we need to do our best in whatever way we can, and not let go of our inner peace. We'll have a practice of meditation, but I'd like to ask Ezra to come over and just share a little bit, because he's come over from Israel, and you probably haven't very often met people from Israel, and I thought it would be nice for you to meet him. And then afterwards we can have questions to both of us, whatever you'd like to ask. But please come. And actually I'll just tell you what we were doing here in Kolkata, because we have family connections here. And our family lived in Kolkata in the 1940s. And just today we had a very moving experience. We went to the Jewish cemetery, where our grandfather is buried, our great-grandmother, and many other ancestors. So it's been a very, very special visit. But I'm sure you'd like to share something with the group. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm not so good in talking, and not used to talking to a lot of people. I'm very excited. And thank you for inviting me. It's the first time to me to come to India, because I like my cousin Maureen said I wanted to see the place where my father and grandfather are living, and always it was my dream, and now this dream come true. And I've also been in Mount Abu. It was a very good experience, because I never knew nothing about meditation, and it was like first time to me, very exciting also. And today also we went to like my cousin said, to the cemetery, and we saw all like we connected to our family, to this land. We light candles and we said prayers, and I want to bless all people here with peace, and all to bless all the world with peace, and to be good person, and to do good, and to bless Israel that is now under a very, very bad situation, and I hope it will be peace, because a lot of my friends were killed during these 2 days. My family is in a great risk, afraid to go out, and missiles were all shoot, thousands of them every day, and I hope this whole situation will be good, and will be peace for all the people surrounding Israel and to Israel, and I wish peace for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And you can see all life is sacred, right? Everybody is suffering. Okay. Anything you would... yeah, questions? Yeah.
So it will be very good if you all also ask some questions to sisters. Anyone wants to ask? Any question about challenges that you face recently, or anything that you have been facing and you want the solutions for it? Anything you can ask.
Yes, I can give you all the solutions, I hope.
Anyone?
No questions?
Okay, so let me ask. Can I ask?
Yeah, sure.
As you know, sister, that the outer situation nowadays are too much negative, and staying in this knowledge is very difficult, because most of the youths have to interact with others. They have to be like them in some situations of life. So how to regain that knowledge, how to emerge that knowledge in every situations of life?
Thank you. Very relevant question. We want to be spiritual, we want to live in a certain way, and people say, oh, you're crazy, what are you doing? And, we have to really make our choices in life, right? And our choices are not just for the short term, our choices are for the long term. And so when I was 21, I made a choice that I wanted to have a spiritual life. Even before then, I knew that. And I really had to think, what really is meaningful to me? I had to question myself. I said, I have to choose that. I didn't know how everybody was going to react, but I said, I have to choose what gives me meaning, what gives me contentment, what gives me happiness. So you really have to think about that. Really think about your choice and the consequences of your choice and the consequences of your actions. And we were talking a lot about karma, right, Ezra? And we were saying, you throw the ball and it comes back. Whatever you think and you do, it comes back to you like an echo. Right? Oh, tell the story. Yeah. There's a story on karma.
I don't know nothing about this meditation and karma, and I'm learning. This is like 1 week I've been there in Mount Abu, and I like this gulab jamun, very, very tasty. And
everybody likes gulab jamun, right? Yeah.
So I didn't know what's gulab jamun, so I saw, I test, I say I like it very much. And then I left one gulab jamun on the table and say, okay, now I'm going to bring something. Please watch this gulab jamun for me, because I want to eat it when I come back to the table. Okay, so I went, I brought masala chai, and then I came, I say there on the table, the gulab jamun was gone. So I tell to the sisters on the table, where is my gulab jamun? They laughed at me, and then I saw they were hiding this gulab jamun for me, and now I saw it, I was happy. And then I tell him, now I understand what is karma, because this is my karma, because I do this to my children. I always play tricks, hide their plates, hide their, for laughing, and they're looking, so now they're doing this for me. So this is, now I learn what is karma. So this is my karma, gulab jamun.
Good story. But you know, there was one of our, just a little bit come back to the questions, one of our sisters, and she's following a spiritual path. She was studying, she was in college, and she really stuck to her spiritual life. And she was telling me that, and you know, when you have that sort of vibration around you, people feel, actually, people will respect your consistency and your strength. They may ridicule you at first, but they will start to respect you. And one day she came to me, she said, I don't understand. Everybody's coming to me with their girlfriend problems, their boyfriend problems, this problem, that problem. I said, that's because you have an atmosphere of peace and they feel safe. So it's not a negative thing, it's a positive thing. So have courage. You'll have courage? Sure? Yeah. More questions?
Anyone else wants to ask? Question? Yes.
Actually, as I said earlier, the point on media. So this is a very specific question that I'm going to ask. Is that, for example, we have YouTube, which I think 90% of us use. Now the thing is, YouTube has many very good things. Like we have videos of our organization. Yeah, we have videos of our organization which we want to see. But while we see, we have the options of going to other videos as well. So, I mean, like, what is the way out? I mean, like, you gave a very good definition of trauma. That touched me. Like, I just wanted to know, how do we avoid going to the other video and only filter out things which are actually necessary for us?
Okay, so who can do that?
Me, myself.
There's your answer.
I mean, like, gaining that strength to not get deviated.
Got that. Well, okay, one is, of course, the practice of meditation and to continue that. The other is then to go into every action with some awareness. Now, if we just go into something, launch into something without awareness, without a pause, we just react, we just get overtaken. You know, your phone rings and you can just go, hello, and then you get affected by what's on the other end of the phone. Or the phone rings and you can pause, be mindful, be aware. Takes 1 second, less than a second, answer the phone. Then you have there's some separation between you and the influence then. So you have to make a separation. So you're going onto YouTube to watch something. So just be mindful for a moment beforehand and say, okay, I'm going to watch this and this is what I'll stick to. So you're mindful, take a decision, then you watch. It'll make a difference. See what I mean? But if you just put it on, it'll get you.
Just understanding the the result that would come out if I move to deviate myself to something else.
Yeah, you can understand. Again, always understanding the consequences of our choices. You know, and our choices, we need to see three aspects of time. The past, present, future. Past influences us, and then the choice, and then the present choice makes an influence on the future, right? So, you know.
Thank you. Thank you. That was a nice one.
I have another question that most of the youths might say that yes, we all face these kind of problems. That is, most of the youths have a very good speciality, that is the speciality of overthinking. That is
not just youth, any age.
Before the challenges will come in their life, they will start interpreting, they will start thinking that yes, this can happen, that can happen. Then what is that point? What will the youth do at that time? What is that?
Is that a question for you? Overthinking. Well, overthinking is imagination, as we said before. There's a fact, or there's a problem, or there's we make it big. We have to we have the art of making small things big, but we need the art of making big things small. And sometimes, you know yourself, you react in a situation, you get upset, then a couple of days later you think, it wasn't really that important. Yeah? That happened to you? So you need the perspective. What is really important? I say to myself, if I'm going to get upset, at least let it be something important to get upset about. But of course, better not to get upset, because then you lose your way. But this is where, when we practice soul consciousness, when we practice meditation, we then get used to using our thoughts in a very productive way, so that each thought is useful. So one is, there are different categories of thoughts, right? So one is really negative thinking, which is filled with hatred and, really negative feelings. Another is useless thinking, creating imagination about what may happen or what should have happened, or why somebody didn't do something and what they should have done. All useless thinking, actually. Doesn't change anything. And then you have your sort of, regular, I'd say, functional thinking. You plan something, you make your shopping list, you know what you have to do today, look at your calendar. Okay, that's not bad at all, neutral. You have good thoughts. You want the best outcomes. You want others to be happy. These are good thoughts. You want peace. But elevated thoughts are thoughts of the eternal self, and thoughts that connect us with God. And these elevated thoughts give us a lot of strength. And the more you practice elevated thoughts, the less overthinking you will do, because you can't just stop your mind. You try and stop your mind, it'll go even faster. You have to replace it with something more elevated. And that's, again, what meditation does. Try it and see. Okay.
Anyone else wants to ask any question?
Or
Yes.
to Ezra also, if you want to ask a question.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
So my question is that I'm a student living outside from my home. So actually there are so much distractions and negative energy in this world, and the negative energies are more attractive than the positive energy.
Yeah.
So how to be so much focused and consistent for our goals and what we want to do and things.
Yeah. Yeah, not easy, I know, because I remember I studied away from home and I got distracted. And I know there are more distractions nowadays, certainly. Again, what can I say? It comes back to the practice and back to the choice. And I think the important thing is how you have your self-talk. You know, we all have self-talk inside. And very often our self-talk is to put ourselves down or to compare with others, right? Happens to all of us. And that's the self-talk you need to change, because when you have a self-talk which is negative towards the self, then it's like you're looking for something else to then give you value. You're looking for some distraction away from that. But when your self-talk is very good and giving yourself energy, and it's filled with good thoughts and elevated thoughts, then actually you don't need to make an effort not to be distracted. It happens quite naturally. So again, the principle really is don't try and fight these things, because when you fight something, you give it more energy. So the principle is replace it with something better. Right? Okay, good. Good, good. Okay. Anything else?
Anything else?
One more. Two more.
So I'm in the spiritual knowledge, and I want to stick to Baba's Srimad, and we very well get it from the Murlis that we hear every day, or from the Avyakt Murli. So the signals that you get from the Murli is be tolerant, be peaceful, don't hurt anyone, don't do anything to defame the father or the family. So there is this band of Srimad where we want to be. There is one band where we have the situation in front of us, where someone is trying to take away your peace, and is trying to do everything to malign you or do everything in their power to make themselves
To
portray
disturb
better
you.
in front of others. And there is one self-talk happening that, well, I should stand up for myself, and I should fight back, right? But in that process of fighting back, there could also be a situation where I might be defaming of being a peaceful or a tolerant soul. So there is a little bit of
There's
duality,
a conflict.
a conflict
Yeah.
there. So how do you decide there? And there is also the message that Baba very clearly gives, is that Baba is there for you.
Yeah, right.
So no matter what happens, no matter what they are fighting against the child of God, so you are safe. So I've been getting that a lot for the past 2 days, that Baba is there, and do not fear. Everything is, Baba is going to
Yeah.
take care. So, but still, when the situation comes in front of me, how do I take it forward? Do I just be tolerant and take it in my stride, or do I put forward what I need to say and fight it out?
Okay, so obviously depends on the situation. Sometimes it's good to stay quiet, sometimes it's good to speak. But the important thing is that if I have to say something, I say it with peace, with a loving attitude, a benevolent attitude. And this is where the importance happens, this is the important key. And yes, well, I'm a child of God, they're a child of God also. Everybody has their part to play. And sometimes I tell myself, when somebody's reacting, whatever it is, I say, well, okay, this is their part at the moment. So what is my part? my part is not to add more fuel to that, but my part is to try and uplift the situation. And like, there are three things. One is acceptance. Okay, this is happening. So don't try to change it. It's happening. Accept it. But an understanding what has led to this. But the compassion is to uplift, to do something that will uplift. So sometimes stay quiet, stay in your dignity. But if you stay quiet and you've got all the thoughts going around in your head, the vibrations, it's as much reacting as if you speak. And if you have to speak, quiet within, say what you have to say, it'll have an impact. It'll have a greater impact. So the internal practice is always the key. Yeah. Stay calm inside. Okay, that's the way you want to be? Fine, this is how I am.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Actually, my question is how to stay calm and quiet during the disaster. I mean, like wartime, as you said. So, I mean, suppose if my family members are affected, and if they have lost their lives, I know that I have to remember Baba at that time, and I have to be strong. But still, daily I used to get messages like today somebody has died and my uncle is died, like that. So in that time, even during the meditation also I cannot concentrate. So how to stay strong and positive in that time?
Okay, I'll just say something and then I'll ask Ezra to answer as well. But one is to remember that the soul is eternal. And so there's continuity of life. And so when somebody leaves, I can still send them good wishes, good feelings. I can send them love. I don't have to feel that it's all over. So still communicate those good wishes and good vibrations to the soul. Remember the good times. Forgive anything that may not have been right. And then give benevolence so that the soul can continue on its journey. And God will help you in that. Baba will help. Yeah? Do you want to add any, want to say anything?
I think you can give all the best answers because I don't have the knowledge to say the right things because I have to deal with a lot of things. It's very difficult for me to give the right answer because it's a very, very hard situation. Also, I lost my father last year, and sometimes it's not so easy to it's not easy. Also, I think Maureen, sister, give the answer.
Thank you. But I mean, being with Ezra now these few days, I've really seen your courage to keep going in spite of everything that's happening. And of course you have to do what you have to do. We have family there, we're constantly in touch in terms of the war situation, to know what's happening, to speak, to be there, to comfort. Very important. So people need love at that time, right? They need it. It's what they need from us. Yeah. So there's a lot we can do on that level. Yeah.
So sister, we have few questions coming up.
Oh gosh. Okay, maybe it's 5 to maybe 1 or 2
Yes.
more. Okay.
So the first question is, if people are not good to us,
Yeah.
how can we give good blessings or good wishes to them, and what are the benefits of good wishes?
Okay, well, I'll try and give short answers. I'll just tell an example in terms of this one. I remember somebody calling me once and telling me that somebody that they know had done something very bad to a friend of theirs. And he said to me, I want to go and throttle them. And I know we're meant to have good wishes. How can I have good wishes? So I just paused myself. That pause is important, connected. And then I said to him, okay, what would be the best outcome of this situation? And he thought, and he said, well, that person would realize, they would apologize, they would change. I said, that's having good wishes, that's enough. I'll leave it there.
Thank you so much, Sister Maureen Mahan. We are very much pledged for this enlightenment and enlightening evening. We are very much blessed to have you this evening.
Thank you.
And I hope that every point from today's class touched your heart. The main point of today's class was that trauma is not something which happens in your life. It is something that is how you react, how you respond to every situations of life. And self-checking, self-pausing is very important. And then only you can overcome every challenges of life. And before the challenges are coming, never be afraid of it. You have to fight against it, you have to be peaceful, you have to be calmful, and then only you can face any challenges of life. With this, we come to the end of today's session. A great round of applause for Sister Maureen. Thank you so much.
Can we do a meditation practice? Can I do a meditation commentary? Because then that will give you that practice. Okay. Okay, you can say yes, sure. Okay. Thank you. So let us have some experience, some practice. So I'd like you to sit relaxed, feet on the floor. Well, you're cross-legged, that's fine, on the floor. Take a deep breath. Now, let us go on an inner journey to experience who we really are. There are many influences around us, many external situations. I play many roles, and each role carries expectations, obligations, and I can get confused as to who I am. So how can I find my true self, the one who is playing those roles? I focus on the inner being, on my consciousness, the being that is not physical, being that gives life to this physical body. I am a being of spiritual energy, of spiritual light. And the focus for that light is in the center of my forehead. So I visualize a tiny point of light shining. It is I, the soul. And as I focus that awareness, my awareness on that light, everything else fades away, and I become the light. I am light. And my original nature is peace. I am a being of peace. This peace belongs to me. No one can take it away. It is my inner treasure. I am a being of love and wisdom. In this state of peace, I take my consciousness beyond to connect with the source of peace, the source of love, the supreme being of light, who is unlimited. I'm lost in that ocean of love, ocean of peace. I feel the healing power of God's love. That gives me strength, gives me courage. As I fill myself with that eternal peace and unlimited love, the vibrations reach out into the world, to bring peace to all those around me, to bring peace to those who are far from me. All are my brothers and sisters. All defeat the healing power of God's love. This transformative power uplifts souls and enables love to enter their hearts again. Gradually I return to my body, to the room, to my surroundings. Staying in that awareness that I am a being of peace. Om Shanti.
शांति सागर की लहरें जब जब पास में आए, ओम शांति, ओम शांति। शांति सागर की जब जब पास में आए, मन हो शांत तन हो शीतल, पावन सुख बरसा।